How's things, Amanda?
I'm all right. How are you?
I am delighted to have you here. Thank you so
Oh,
much for coming in. Love the hair as well, by the way. Thank you
you?
so much. Definitely changed the tough mother. Am I right? It's blonde
Yes.
now. I knew it. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at noticing that. Excellent. Brilliant. So good to have you here. Thanks for coming on. Obviously, so many people here know you, Amanda, from your breathtaking before and after photograph. I mean, it's like you have to look twice to make sure it's the same person. It's incredible what you've done. And I especially love that you shared a couple of perhaps vulnerable photographs of yourself back, a few years back, which shows courage. So why don't we go right back to the beginning, first of all, Amanda? Because a lot of people here will be at the start of their journey, probably will struggle to be able to future pace to getting to where you are now. So
Yeah.
at the start, what was it you would say that was impacted by your weight?
I think more than I realised at the time, probably. I was doing the whole, oh, I'm all right. If this is just how I'm going to be, that's, I can accept that. But my confidence was low. I think I was in probably a worse place mentally than I had realised or given kind of myself any care for.
Mhm.
Um, but definitely.
Apologies, sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, it was that, and I'd got to the point where I didn't want to go anywhere. I've always been a very social person, but like that totally resonates with what people were saying. As much as I was so looking forward to the holiday that we were going on, it was for John's birthday. I didn't want to go. We had people coming out to surprise him because it was, and I didn't want them to come because I felt like it would make me feel even more uncomfortable because some of the people that were coming on the holiday were a lot slimmer than me, even though they're my family and I love them and they love me. I just felt really uncomfortable in my own skin. And I'd lost kind of a sight of me, like the me I've been previously.
Yeah.
Um, there was a lot going on that I don't think I'd thought about either. This whole thing we were saying about self care, my mum and dad, and I know there's a lot of people in the group in the same situation. My dad's very poorly, my mum has Alzheimer's, and there's so much going on outside of you that you just forget about yourself, and then you become kind of like, I don't know, you just think, well, this is just the way that it is, and that's how I felt it was, and I knew I felt really low in myself, but I just was kind of glossing it over for everybody. I was like, oh, well, my favourite one was always there's no wrinkles on a balloon.
Mm.
And I just was like, well, because and I think that was another thing. I'm 50 this year, and it just kind of made me think, well, that's just how it is now. I'm probably going through the menopause, and that's just how it's going to be. And I spent a good probably year before I joined TSD telling myself that that's how it had to be and that's how it was.
This is really important because what we say to ourselves influences our beliefs, and those beliefs influence our actions. So when we downplay it or berate ourselves or make a joke of ourselves, it's a form of self-preservation to stop someone else from doing it. But also, what it does is it justifies us staying where we are. And one thing I want everyone to be super aware of is if you ever catch yourself justifying not doing something that you know deep down will make you happy. Like a lot of people here have got parents who perhaps have got health problems and they can relate to how short life is. Like this is not a rehearsal, cliche or not, it's not. And because we've tried so many things in the past that perhaps aren't sustainable, it means that we built up this mountain of self-doubt, which means it's easier to just not try.
100%. Yeah. And I
Mm.
think, and I'm, you get to a point where you just think there's so much to do. There's, the mountain that you've got to climb is so big that you just don't know where to start. And that's where I was. I just didn't know where to start. And I felt as though I was never going to get to anywhere near where I would want to get to because I just had so much to lose.
Mm.
And I felt so bad in myself. My eating was really poo. And I've never really been a binge eater or anything like that, but I've never eaten fruit and veg. So I was like, well, it's just not going to, it doesn't matter what I do, it's not going to work. And I kind of told myself that, I think. And yeah, you just kind of think, well, how am I possibly ever, if someone had said to me then that I'd be here now, I just wouldn't have believed it. I just think I'd have been like, well, that's not going to happen.
Beautiful thing, you see, you only believe it when you it's a tricky one, because you've all heard that, I believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous phrase, because it means that you don't believe it until you see it. But if you don't believe it, you're not going to see it. So it's almost like having someone like myself or one of the coaches saying to you, well, yeah, of course this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to lose the weight. And then if we say it with such certainty from experience, then very slowly you start to believe it. And what have you achieved, Amanda?
So I'm nearly 5 stone down. So I've lost about 100 and something centimeters. I can't remember what it is now. That's 28% of my body weight from when I originally started.
28% of your body weight.
Yeah.
Like that is huge. Statistically, Amanda, you will live 15 years longer because of what you've done.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
15 years longer. For anyone else watching this, if you've lost 10% of your body weight, that equates to 15 years longer. I don't have the stats on 28%, Amanda, but it's certainly going to be more than that. But that's just putting that into context in terms of what you've actually done.
Yeah. And do you know what? It's been, I think I said when I did my post, it's been, some bits of it have been elating. It's been amazing. Like when I did my measurements, like when I said it was a year since I'd started doing progress reports, I hadn't done one for a while. I'd hit a massive plateau and I was starting to get hacked off. You ask Ferrari, he would tell me off all the time. But you start, but it's so weird because previously I'd have thought, oh well, that's it. I'm not going to get to where I'm going to go, and well, what's the point? And I never once have thought, what's the point? I've had my frustrations. I've shared them in the inner circle. I've had my times where I've just felt like it feels unfair because I'm doing this and nothing's happening, but you don't necessarily know what's going on the inside. But the big difference for me with this is I've never fully given up. I've never thought, well, that's me, I've had a bad weekend, what's the point? I'll have a bad week, which I would have done before. I'd have a couple of weeks where I wouldn't lose anything. I mean, I literally put on and lost the same stone for about 8 weeks, which was frustration central for me. But somewhere along the line, you kind of realise that it's just going to be like, it can't be like it forever. Fra would always be saying to me, you can't be losing 3 and 4 pounds every week. Because when you first start as well, sometimes you have those weeks where you don't lose anything, but then you'll have a big win or a big loss as it is. And then the longer you get into it, they become smaller and smaller. And I think that what this has taught me is that it's not necessarily about what's on the scale every time. It's about how you feel in yourself or how you impact on somebody else, and how it's just as good to share the bits that aren't great. It's just as good to put those things on when you feel a bit crap and you think, I've been really hard and I've tried, because you just need somebody else to say to you, I've been there too. And sure enough, if you keep plugging away, and there's some amazing people in this group who you look up to and you just think they've all had those times like that, and we all have. It's not always going to be plain sailing, but I think it's so different when you do it this way, because you learn the bits that that work. And that's always there in the back of your mind when you're having those times where it's not, where you haven't had loads of loss or whatever it is, and it's there, and you do realise that eventually if you just keep plugging away at it, you will keep getting there.
That's a really important message, Amanda, because first of all, there's so many reasons why the scales won't show progress. It could be time of the month. It could be that you've had a salty meal. It could be that you're hitting a plateau and you're going to have a big jump, because weight loss is never a straight line. It's a staircase, as you see. But what's incredibly powerful to know that if you can humanize yourself by showing vulnerabilities like you do, and actually share struggles like other people do in the inner circle. And I'm not just talking to you, Amanda, I'm talking to everybody here who's watching this, who perhaps doesn't share enough in the inner circle. If you can humanize yourself by sharing struggles, and if you can fight to find your wins, and if you can point blank absolutely refuse to quit or stop learning, then success and everything that you want in life is inevitable. It's a matter of time. And I really believe that. And Amanda, you're just a powerhouse of success. Obviously, I met you at Tough Mudder just gone in Manchester, and you're telling me about your work and your promotion as well. Like, how would you say progressing with your personal development has contributed towards that?
Honestly, I think that's been the biggest win for me. That the confidence that you get from doing this, it is partly about the way, but I think it's you see yourself differently somehow. I've never felt, and this kind of goes back to probably being a kid a little bit, and always that comparing myself to others and not maybe feeling like I've made the grade, even though I know my sane brain tells me that I've done some things that have been successful. I've never felt it. But the personal development and the kind of confidence that this has given me to just think, well, actually, yeah, I have achieved that. I would never in 1,000,000 of years have gone and put myself in for this job 6-8 months ago. I just wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have had the confidence when I very first started because I felt so self-conscious about myself. And I couldn't speak about myself in a positive way.
Yeah.
I'd find that I was being show-offy or, you know, something like that. And I've always been kind of, I think if you're self-deprecating it, like you said, if you get in there first, nobody can hurt you by saying something mean about you, I suppose. But yeah, I just went into this interview with a kind of, oh, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not going to be the end of the world. And things like Miracle Morning and meditation and stuff helped me realize that, like, whatever happens, I can't change it. I'll come out of that room and I can't change what's happened in that hour and a half or whatever it is. So I'm just going to have a conversation with somebody and see what happens. And then, yeah, they offered me the job. So I was like, okay.
Amanda, it's just such an important point because the time is going to pass anyway. You're going to be a year older 12 months from now anyway. So, like, even if things don't work out the first time for some people, like, at least you've tried, put yourself forward and stepped out of your comfort zone like that, going in with that confidence, Amanda. And this is what I mean when I say your life should horizontally improve. Strength, mobility, confidence, the messages you're giving to your family, income, job satisfaction, everything, you know, and you're, by the way, we have just short of 1,000 comments here, Amanda. So best of luck going through all of them. If you could reply to a few, that would be amazing. Just to 1.1 thousand comments already, Amanda. Just so many incredible. You're an inspiration. Yes, Amanda, love the way you're thinking and you're seeing your work. Love it. Well done. Well done on the promotion. Thank you for sharing your journey. Inspiring, resonates with so many of us. So please do. And obviously, there's loads of people here who struggle with A, investing in themselves, or B, actually even just putting time into themselves because of low self-worth. What would you say to someone who's on the fence and is not sure about putting themselves first?
Do it. Honestly, I was there. I sat on the edge of the inner circle for 3 months before I took the leap. I did it once and then thought I was going to get made redundant, so said I wasn't going to do it. But, do you know what? It's been the best investment, you know, financially, time-wise. I have time for myself now. Now, I choose to get up at 4:30 in the morning every day to do that, but I have to do that because life just gets in the way otherwise. Work, kids, my mum and dad. But it's worth every minute. And if you can do it, just go the once, do the thing that you don't want to do it and not be very good at it, because the more you do it, the easier it becomes, the more natural it becomes, the And then the more you need it. If I don't go to the gym now, I'm cranky.
Oh, absolutely. Intolerable, my wife terms me.
I'm such a
Intolerable.
if I don't go, or if I haven't been able to kind of, and I did something to my leg and I've broken my finger, but again, it's been those things that, like, I just do something different. I've just walked on the treadmill. I'm not allowed to walk on the treadmill, so now we'll go on the cross trainer thing, or I've done Pilates because I couldn't do HIIT. And it's just do something just for you. Go and give yourself those 30 minutes, have a walk in the peace and quiet, and just, it does help. And I know it's a horrible feeling when you start and you're scared and you think, what's the point? It's never going to happen, but it will if you keep doing it every day. One of the favorite things you have always said is, I'm not there yet. And I would say I'm still not there yet. But every day you put one foot in front of the other, you get closer to where you want to be. And that's the reality. So
not there yet, but I'm well on my way. Not there yet, but I'm well on my way.
yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes you're right at the beginning, sometimes you have to stop. But yeah, just do it would be my advice.
And like you mentioned about it being scary, about there being struggles along the way too. And what I want everyone to know is that typically in life, like the biggest opportunities are wrapped with problems. And all we can see is the problems. And it's all the staring back at us is the problem. But it's only when we move past it that we recognize it actually was a huge opportunity for growth. And what makes you think this is sustainable? It's not going to be like a temporary thing and then you regain all the weight and go back.
I've done this before. I lost quite a lot of weight before. When John and I got married, I lost nearly 5 stone, but I did it in 4 months. It was ridiculous. I wasn't eating properly. I wasn't doing anything proper. And the minute the wedding was over and done with, I was like, oh, well, I did that. That's what that was for. But this is because I've worked on more than just the scales. It's like the scales are a byproduct of everything else. It's that, and that's what makes it different. It's the belief that if you can, when you look at all of the people that are on here, like, some of the stories are just phenomenal, and you just think that these people have been in wheelchairs or haven't been able to move, they've been, immobilized completely, and people have done it. So if I can do it, I mean, I literally could not have done that challenge, like get up and get down off the floor when I started, not a cat in hell's chance. And, just do it once, and that's the thing that makes it sustainable. It's the fact that you learn how to do things that maybe like when you start, you can't do all of the things that are in your exercise plan as an example, but you learn that, okay, but if I do that, or if I sleep better, or if I drink the water, or if I, just stick to my plan, that'll help me for now. And then these things will come in time. And that's what makes it sustainable, because not every day is I'm going to jump out of bed, I'm going to put my gym stuff on, and I'm going to run to the gym. Some days you feel a bit pants. And, but on those days, you think, right, well, I'm going to drink enough water, and I'm going to at least do 2,000-3,000 steps, or I'm going to make sure that I go to bed early and have an early night and sleep better. And tomorrow's another day. And that's, I think, been the biggest difference for me, is that every day you wake up and you go, that's it. Today's a new day. Yesterday's gone. I can't do anything to change it, but I can do something today, or I can do something tomorrow. And then before you know it, a year's gone down the line, and I'm sat here talking to you.
I know. And I remember even suggesting it to you, at the time. And now look at you, Amanda, like, talk about blossoming. But and my favorite thing that you've shared is just the fact that you're obviously so humble in yourself, but you're meeting everybody watching this where they are, because you've been there as well. And that means you're so personable, you're humanizing yourself, and I'm just so proud of you. And so it's for and I just, like, talk about the inner circle being a great place, like, you're an integral part of that. And the comments here are just incredible. So I just want to thank everyone who's come along to obviously support Amanda. I want to thank you, Amanda, for coming on here and inspired so many people. And like you're so far ahead, but we're never going to reach where we want to go, because where's the fun in that? We're always going to be striving. Grateful for how far we've come, because I don't think we should ever be given any more in life if we're not grateful for what we already have. Grateful for how far you've come, but of course, striving for more. And no doubt, Amanda, you will keep striving. So thank you for coming on. You're an absolute rock star. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. See you
Bye-bye,
later,
everyone.
guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.